Hey everybody, this is Brett from Moonstream, and just wanted to record a quick video. Obviously, having some volatility and sell-off in the markets here, which is good in many ways. Needed to reset, come down, and in this chart we can see Bitcoin pulling off the 70k top, 74k top. I think a lot of this was, liquidating the longs, resetting funding rates, and just getting was a little frothy here. So this is a good thing. How we come down, how far we come down, hard to say. A lot of buy blocks down in this zone here around the 60 to 64k region, and starting to see some of our indicators turning red, potentially breaking down below the 80 line there. But also, many of the coins are holding the 21-day rising EMAs, most of the altcoins. So it really could go either way here. Ethereum, the same, touching down on the 21-day EMA. And if I turn off the fib tool here, I've got a macro fib on this. Let me just get rid of that, and can show that the same thing, 21-day EMA, lots of buy blocks just below here. So ideally, just back to Bitcoin really quickly. If we do head lower, I do think this is a good place to DCA back in, just above 63k, so right in the 64 range. A lot of the day traders are shorting this market and maybe margin shorting this, looking for a 60k cover. I don't think we get down there because ETF money is still flowing back in. We can see that on the 1 hour time frame. On the IBIT, at least it was earlier today, that's switched to the red, however, so that's interesting. We'll be keeping an eye on that, but I do think Monday we come back and see some kind of a bounce, more ETF money holding the line. Have to see. I'd love to see a pullback, though. I would love to see that to set us up for the next big move higher, and that would be the big dip that we've been waiting for. Wasn't sure we'd have that once we broke 70k. Thought we could push up to 80, but I'm happy to see this pulling back in to get the reset all of the buyers and sellers in the cycle. I'd like to kind of buy these on the upswing from down in the lower range. Those are our best trades. And when markets get too far away from the 21-day EMA, I was joking in class yesterday that it was starting to look like a Chinese weather balloon all the way up here in the sky, just ready to get shot down. And sure enough, that's what happened. So nothing bad, not a good thing, a bad thing, and just a thing waiting for the sellers to have their turn and exhaust themselves, and then see the buyers come back in, which I do think we'll see, and start to recover as soon as Monday. This could sell off here pretty quickly over the weekend, but we'll have to see. Solana is still positive, though. This thing is a rocket. It won't stop. Let me just turn off some of the fibs here, and because I was looking at some upward targets. Solana, I think, can go to 1,000, 1,500 is the midpoint, as high as 3,000. Kind of depends on what ETH does. I have a sort of barometer that Solana should be worth around 20% of ETH. But they do have their new Fire Dancer technology coming out, whereas currently they say they can do 50,000 transactions per second, Fire Dancer will allow allegedly 500,000 to a million TPS. And so they win. They're going to win. They're venture backed. And so I would not bet against Solana. I'm going to ride this one all the way back up, because back in August of 2021, when I first recommended Solana at $35, we started taking profits early, waiting for a pullback that didn't come till much, much higher. So I won't be selling any Solana. Very encouraging. It's up slightly on the day when everything is down. Chainlink losing that key $20 level, but a lot of buy blocks down below, down to the 50-day EMA. So nothing terribly wrong there. And so just going through some of these. Compound really never got its feet. This is a great project, but not really in favor. It is retesting former resistance, so right around this 80 level would be nice to see it hold there and then push higher, but it's not one of our top recommendations. I'm just going to jump over to a different watch list. Real quick, though, AVAX has been showing some strength in this pullback. It's holding very nicely back above this support zone around 50, so AVAX looking pretty strong. And just switch over to the coins I'm mostly following. And just to jump over to total market cap, by the way, this is what we really want to be following, because the zones here, 3 trillion will, of course, be a big resistance area. That was the market cycle top back in 2021. These red and green arrows, by the way, are our early reversal indicator that have been so strong, especially on the weekly time frame, which called the last cycle top exactly to the day and to the week, and with multiple arrows up and down showing when to pivot, including on the monthly time frame back here in January. It was clearly a buy signal, so we were able to get in early, and of course that's the name of the game in crypto. But again, when they get this far away and they have let's parabolic rise away from the 21-day EMA, this is a lot of open air. I did expect we'd pull back in here, back into this zone, the prior resistance right above 2 trillion. and we pushed higher here. So it's only normal that we come back down and retest these levels at some area. But the ETF money is a big wild card. That's certainly not drying up. As money comes in, it will be deployed. So I'm half expecting a big green day Monday, and once the sell pressure sort of eases up. So now's not a really good time to be buying necessarily. If you want to buy the dip, that's one thing. But a lot of these haven't really dipped yet, like Phantom Coin. Much rather buy it down to these local support resistance levels that may have flipped over. Very often, most times they do retest. And I do like the fact that the 21 days crossing the 50-day, sorry, I'm on the weekly chart, although this is a big buy signal for me. 21 crossing above the 50. Of course, we do have our custom indicators that we're watching there. And one new one that we have is this new version of a Bollinger Band, where when we get above the modified Bollinger Band, that's a third standard deviation, and gets above, which is color coded red on the upper Bollinger Band, green on the bottom, but breaking up above that, we have this red line. It pushed a little higher, but typically these are always sell signals. So when they get above that upper third standard deviation Bollinger Band, they pull back down in. And so a little bit of weakness there on all of these. Filecoin as well, all great projects. I would love to see these come back down and be able to dollar cost average in a little bit lower. And so as we can see, it's a sea of red. Some helium's been selling off so much, it's already kind of front run the sell off here. And see these Bollinger Bands starting to tighten. So I would be looking to buy and accumulate helium and in this range, maybe give it another week once the other signals kind of turn green. Overbought here, though, on our trend strength indicator on the weekly time frame. These are those longer cycles. So I think helium coin might be a little while before it's ready to get back in. Was about to issue a buy on Matic just the other day, but it's just not quite there yet, and had a lot of sell pressure up about $1.50. AVAX again is looking good. Recently had a 21 crossover on the 50-week EMA, and had been drawing this. The AVAX here, even to old highs, when we were looking at this back in here, had a 386 potential percent, so that's a little over 3x. Now it's only 140, but I do think it goes to new highs in this market cycle. So, but these other altcoins really just getting hammered, like Jam. These are some micro caps, but on a percentage wise, chart doesn't look too bad. Fetch Coin, which was on a run, and look, this certainly needed to pull back, but I see a lot of buy pressure right in here. So what I would expect is to come back, test the midpoint of this big vector candle around $2.30 and into this buy zone and head up higher. So the AI token still looking strong. Optimism, I was very optimistic on Optimism, but big old bearish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame, and a bearish ERI in addition to the bearish engulfing candle. So Optimism not looking so good here, but I would be waiting for our trend strength indicator to confirm, which it hasn't. So anything can happen. Of course, Solana is still looking strong and looking to go higher. Say is looking remarkably strong amidst this sell-off after sort of testing this recent support resistance level around 85 cents. So now this candle, we call the rocket on the launch pad if it can hold here. Big green candle above, wick down below. That's the fuse. This is the rocket fuel. Typically follows by a big push higher up into the atmosphere, kind of like a bottle rocket. That's on the weekly time frame. But also we can see it there on the daily time frame, getting a rocket on the daily. You can see this is one of our custom indicators. And by the way, if you'd like to learn more about those, you can go over to moonstream.io/Mastery Pro. These are our new pro indicators, and our base indicators you can find at cryptomastery.org. So in terms of everything else, looking to sell off here, just waiting for it to find some stability and the sell pressure to ease up. So that's all I have as an update here today. We'll look forward to seeing what happens through the weekend, and really be interesting to see what happens Monday and next week with the FOMC meeting. So, I don't know. I think probably they were pricing in some kind of either a rate cut, or it's hard to say, but the Fed's recently signaled with that stronger PPI data that we will not likely see that. And so, again, very interesting to see. We've got the DXY. Let's take a look at that on a daily time frame. Was in this nice downward trending channel. If I turn off the indicators, don't really apply on this chart, but the downward trending channel there, I've got a dedicated chart for this somewhere else showing the different zones, but I'd have to pull that up separately. So anyway, let's call it there. Total market cap again holding right at 2.5 trillion, looking bearish here. Should pull down this 2.3 trillion range, which has previously been a good level for support resistance. So I would not be surprised to see it come down in that area. Anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll keep you posted. Cheers.